Well, hey everybody. It's the second day of February 2026. I'm Jan Erickson, and this is As Above, So Below. Well, I apologize for not doing this yesterday, but I had a terrible toothache and I could barely talk. But I've been doing echinacea yesterday and today and done some plantain poultices and compresses on the area, and I'm actually feeling pretty good. So, yay. Maybe I don't have to. I have to go see the dentist anyway, but I just don't want to do it right now if I don't have to. But anyway, let's go ahead and get started. I did this once, but I got just a couple minutes into it and the sound went off. I just had done the update on this software I use, and I don't know. I'm hoping it'll be fine. Anyway, we're going to start today out with Thurazaz. Thurazaz is the third rune of the Elder Futhark. It means Thor's rune. It's Thor's hammer. It looks like a thorn, if you will, like a rose thorn on a branch. You see the little thorn that sticks out. It's essentially what opposes you. Sometimes that's yourself, not just situations, but it can be you. It can be you as well. It can be impulsive behavior. It can be chaotic behavior. And that can oppose you in terms of being successful or doing what you need to do. It can mean defense. It can mean new beginnings, protection, again, opposition, either from self or others. So let's go ahead and we'll do this. Do the rune here, the Geomancy rune. To see what we have there. There's earth. Which one is this? This is fire. That's water. And that's air. So we have Amicio. Amicio is about loss. It's about decrease. It's about hesitance to engage. It's about needing reliability. And so if you're, I think this is it here, yeah. Its complement is acquisitio, or gain, or increase, or success, meeting your goals. But this is a little more, well, I mean, if you're looking at it just in terms of energy, acquisitio would be increase or gain, and emicio would be loss or decrease. Now, that can be financial, but it doesn't have to be. Like if you got better, like I'm getting better, so I have the loss of all that pain. Emicio could indicate that. So so it can be decrease of any kind, but it could be that you've figured out what it is that's getting in the way of things, and if that's the case, then maybe there's some lack of impulse control on your part, or maybe there's some circumstances around you that are just very chaotic and it's hard to wade through all of it. It could be something like that, and you need to have a way of protecting yourself in a situation like that. And it could be something where you're in a situation that is a bit chaotic. And with Amicio, it's saying, you know what, you need a little more reliability than all of that. And if you're the one that's causing the chaos, then it's almost as if you're not really comprehending that what you actually need instead of the chaos is more reliability. But let's see what the cards have to say. And I've done some shuffling already. I'll do a little bit more. And then we'll cut the deck and take the lower half. Well, we have we have one from swords, one from cups, and one from pentacles. We have the 4 of pentacles, we have the 7 of cups, and we have the page of swords. But let's do the numerology first. So we have 3 for Thurazaz. We have 4 for the 4 of pentacles, our miserly king. We have the 7 of cups. So that's 14. Let me do it one more time. 3 plus 4 plus 7. There's nothing for the page. The quartz doesn't have numbers associated with it. So 14. And that's going to reduce to 5. So change, protection, freedom versus restriction. And so there may be something with respect to change or protection that Thurisaz is alerting you to. Maybe you're going to be entering a situation where you need more reliability, a better understanding of something. It could have something to do with finances. Here you have, this can be seen a lot of different ways. 4 is about foundation and structure and grounding. But here you have a king with his back to the kingdom, and he's displaying his wealth. He's got his feet on them. He's holding it tight to his chest. He's got one displayed on top of his crown. And generally speaking, unless there's something else in the reading that tells me something else that's different than that, I look upon that as just taking a conservative approach to money before you go and you spend something. So again, with Thurisaz, it could just be alerting you that, maybe you're going to do something, you're going to buy something that might be even a big purchase. And so you want to be sure. And if you don't have all the facts, and the person, say you go buy a car and they're not really answering your questions, and you really need them answered, so that you feel comfortable and confident about spending that kind of money on a car, especially now. And so with Amicio, then you would need that reliability. And you need to protect yourself with Thurisaz. You need to protect yourself with all of it. And you want to be a bit conservative in your approach before you part with your money, essentially, with the 4 of Pentacles. That's one way that you can look at that. Now, moving on to the 7 of Cups, here you have a man in silhouette. So this is the dream state. You have the dark clouds here, and you have all these cups here. Now, there's a couple ways to look at this. With the 7, you want to let things settle out. And so you have a full understanding of something. And so you want to observe. And in a sense, that's what he's doing. He's observing all of these things he might have in his life. A person in his life. There you have, this is actually an angel. Here you have a serpent right here. This might be a dragon or something. Here you have a wreath, which means success. Here you have some jewels. And here you have a new house. And so I like to look at this in a very positive way, typically, unless cards are there that tell me, no, don't look at it that way. And I like to see this as dreaming new dreams. It might not be appropriate right now, but down the road, you've got new opportunities coming your way, and maybe you can manifest some of this stuff. And so what you're looking at, in terms of daydreaming, say, for example, you're daydreaming about this or that, and maybe it seems unrealistic, and you got people telling you, yeah, don't do that. That's silly. Don't do that kind of stuff. But how do they know? And how do you know that it is, that it's unreachable, that it has no basis in reality? See, I think you have to leave that open. And otherwise, you've got your head in the clouds and you're being unrealistic about stuff. And so I think when, you're looking about the idea of needing more reliability about something this next week, it can have to do with hanging on to your money, because it could be a big expenditure, and you want to be absolutely sure you understand everything about it before you go and part with your money and sign away, however X amount of years of payments, for something like, if it is a car or something, or a house, or just a big purchase. You want to be sure. If you have somebody coming in to remodel your home, for example, or you're going to do it yourself, you need to be sure about the finances you have. You need to scope it out before you get started. You need to go and get estimates and do your due diligence to figure out, okay, how much money am I going to have to spend on lumber and or cabinets or whatever it is. And so you need to be sure of those things. And so if somebody is with Thurisaz is trying to talk you into something that really is not going to serve you well, then pay attention to that inner voice that says, I don't have my questions answered. And if they're not going to answer them, then you get up and you walk away, right? Because they're not going to. They're not going to help you with that. And you need to be able to talk to somebody that can give you the right information that you need to be able to make the best decision for yourself. With the Page of Swords, now the Page of Swords is a bit of a risk taker. You almost see the ground moving under his feet. You see the wind blowing this way, and it's blowing the clouds away, the clouds of deception. He's got his sword pointed sort of up to heaven, but trying to get the truth of everything. And so you want to be vigilant. You know, he's somebody that is he can be diplomatic and intelligent, but if you're going to take a risk, you've got to know as much as possible. So there's the vigilance with the Page of Swords. So I think how I want to read this here today is there could be something next week that you need to buy or you're considering doing, and you need to do your research, do your due diligence so that you understand. And if you're talking to somebody that isn't giving you the information you need, then maybe you need to go talk to somebody else so that you have that, so you get the reliability. You know, you don't want to, on the decrease side of Amicio or lost side, you don't want to spend a bunch of money with someone who hasn't given you the answers that you need. So say you need a new roof, and you want to hire a roofing company, but they're not telling you what you need to, and I've done this, right? And I thought that we were on the same page, but when I got home to see it, it was like, okay. I mean, it was workable, but there was this section over my door that I didn't like, and I told them what I wanted, and they did not do what I asked them to do. It was passable. I paid them, but again, I thought we were on the same page, but we weren't, clearly. And because I wasn't at home, I was at work. Well, you know, we get home and I'm like, really? That isn't what we agreed to. I didn't, and we did the estimate based on that, right? You know. So anyway, and so I think that you know, being conservative with your money, or being just careful with it, it could be a good thing. And it's not that you don't want to dream new dreams, but you also don't want to be unrealistic, which it also will then challenge this, where you're trying to do the right thing, your due diligence, and the right thing for your money that you have to spend. And, you know, and as always, just like with my situation, you take a risk, you think you're on the same page, everybody agrees, and you come back, it's like, nope. So you know, it is a risky situation, you know, to go and spend a lot of money, whether it's on something like that, or a new car, or a trip, or something that you're going to spend some money on, whatever it is, or a new house, whatever it is. And you need to have the facts. You need to do your due diligence. And if someone is not telling you what you want to hear, then maybe that's the signal to walk away and try somebody else. Go talk to somebody else. I mean, it's not uncommon to go and get estimates from several people before you make a decision. And even if you have to talk to them again a few times to be absolutely certain that everyone's on the same page, you know, and you're actually getting what you pay for. But I think that there's a little bit of a caution here with the Four of Pentacles, where, you know, especially if it's a lot of money, you got to be careful, and you don't want to have your head in the clouds and not pay attention, because that's the other thing here. This could signify not paying as close of attention as you need to. So, and again, the Page of Swords is talking about taking risks, but it's also talking about being vigilant and using your intelligence to, you know, make sure you're the one guiding the conversation and not the person who wants to separate you from your money, right? So that may be happening for you next week. So pay attention, and again, you know, it's your money. You know, you decide whether or not you want to part with it. And if something doesn't feel right, it probably isn't. So anyhow, thanks for watching. I'll be back again on Sunday. Hopefully my tooth won't be inflamed again. But if I'm not, then that's what's going on. Okay. But otherwise, I'll see you on Sunday next week for another edition of As Above, So Below. Be good to yourself. Be good to one another. And blessed be.